Dangerous dogs need to be put down. It is unethical to keep persistently aggressive and unpredictable dogs with lengthy bite histories alive. Dogs who exhibit these traits can be prime candidates for behavioral euthanasia, a practice widely recommended by veterinary professionals, animal behaviorists, and even the most fervent advocates for animal rights. Despite the consensus among experts that behavioral euthanasia is an option, albeit the last resort, for animals that are dangerous and unresponsive to treatment, people go to great lengths to keep animals that should be euthanized alive. Motivated by a desire to keep these animals alive at all costs, owners and no-kill shelters abuse dogs into submission, suppressing their aggressive behavior with brutal methods of punishment. These techniques serve only to mask a dog's permanent psychological troubles so they can be integrated into society, only for their aggressive behavior to suddenly reemerge at the worst moment. By conditioning out any warning signs that a dog is poised to attack, children and adults are more likely to approach them, sometimes resulting in dangerous situations. There have been millions of bites and hundreds of deaths from dog attacks over the past decade. It's time we take a good hard look at what role behavioral euthanasia plays in both keeping people safe and preventing dogs with irreversible behavioral problems from enduring abusive training techniques or a life of solitary confinement because they cannot be in contact with people or other dogs. Though not often talked about, behavioral euthanasia is a common practice. Tens of thousands of people have flooded internet support groups with personal stories about having to put down a beloved family dog. Though there are many who have had personal experiences with behavioral euthanasia and understand its importance, others find behavioral euthanasia abhorrent. Even when told by experts that a given dog cannot be trained and will never be safe to be around people, they refuse to accept that euthanizing the animal is the right option. This is entirely understandable. Dogs are considered family to most owners, and those who have lost dogs say it's like losing a human family member. People may think of aggression in terms of their less severe experiences with aggressive dog behavior, considering it a nuisance instead of a danger. Many can't imagine a scenario where they would have to euthanize their animal, as they haven't experienced severe bites or predatory stalking behavior toward people, for instance. It's also easy to give dogs human qualities, overestimating their ability to overcome certain dangerous behaviors that, in some cases, dogs cannot be trained out of. These factors make it hard for people to take a professional's word for it when they say an animal needs to be euthanized. It's important to emphasize the severity of dangerous behavior that leads to an animal's euthanasia. Many behaviors make a dog a possible candidate for behavioral euthanasia. Aggression is by far the most common reason dogs are euthanized, according to an extensive survey conducted by Miranda Hitchcock, who holds a master's degree in animal behavioral science. According to her, aggression takes a variety of forms, but the cases of behavioral euthanasia she surveyed were primarily concerned with specific kinds of aggression toward people. When considering behavioral euthanasia for a dog, a vet or other specialist looks at a dog's history of problematic behavior and assesses the animal with various tests. According to Hitchcock, though, there is no magic checklist or diagnostic instrument a professional can use to determine whether an animal needs to be euthanized for behavioral reasons. Hitchcock refers to the decision as a judgment call, which can be an unsatisfying answer. Hitchcock points to the paucity of research on behavioral euthanasia as an ongoing issue in her field of expertise, stating that she found only 11 studies, not including hers, looking into the practice. More research is needed, but what has been demonstrated is the danger some dogs pose to adults, kids, and other dogs. A TikTok influencer I love, who drives this point home repeatedly even though people ignore her, is Thinking Canine. She is an animal behaviorist with a master's degree who educates the public about dog training, problematic behaviors, and how professionals like her deal with them. Here's her evaluating a dog that displays aggression towards a stuffed dog, which she presents to the animal as if it were real. She uses this technique to determine if a dog is safe around other dogs, despite demonstrating that dogs are not smart enough to detect if the stuffed animal is real, and attempting to dispel doubt about her testing methods. Her comment section is filled with people who don't get it. One commenter says, "It's still not real. The dogs do know that's not a dog, lol. Also, high stress how you are inducing them." BS. She said in the video that the animal reacted similarly to a real dog while wearing a muzzle, so clearly it doesn't know the difference, as shown with the videos of other dogs reacting as if that dog were real. The only way the test would be more conclusive is if you took off the dog's muzzle and let it rip apart another dog limb by limb, which would not be a good idea. Of course, this is all stress-induced behavior, as the armchair expert stated, as if that matters. Under no amount of reasonable stress should an animal display that behavior. An animal that reacts that way to minor stressors is dangerous. Therefore, the results of the test are still important. Another test commonly used to assess dogs before they're adopted out is using a rubber hand to take away food while the dog is eating. This tests whether a dog exhibits resource guarding behavior, where a dog will protect food, toys, or even its owner, sometimes to the point of inflicting damage on anyone or anything that gets too close to it. Watch this dog ferociously bite the rubber hand that comes too close to its food, compared to a dog that does not display this dangerous behavior. It's important to note that a dog simply having a history of biting does not automatically make it dangerous. Professionals use what's called the Dunbar bite scale as part of an evaluation of an animal. If a dog only inflicts a level 2 bite in a test, for instance, where the teeth contact the skin but no real serious damage is done, that would be a factor in determining whether it is dangerous or not to put the animal up for adoption. To a professional, a dog inflicting a level 5 bite in a test like this would be a major concern. Of course, some minor resource guarding behavior can be corrected with training, but sometimes severe cases cannot be mitigated even with persistent intervention. Other tests include wrapping a crying doll in real infant's clothing to simulate the smells and behavior of a real baby, and seeing how a dog approaches a behaviorist acting as a mother. Watch as this dog takes this baby away from the mother and repeatedly bites the doll's neck despite attempts to pull the dog away. If you think, oh, that dog would react in the same way to anything she's holding, you are wrong. Here's the same dog having a toy practically shoved in its face as the behaviorist makes multiple attempts to attract the dog's attention, but of course the dog isn't interested in the ball because it would rather be tearing a newborn baby to shreds. In cases where it's so clear that a dog is dangerous and displays predatory behavior, there are still people in the comments saying these experts ordered by the court to assess these animals have no idea what they're doing, and that these animals can be fixed somehow. In my mind, there is no convincing these people of the need for behavioral euthanasia, even in serious cases like these. You cannot argue from authority, as people will watch a video by someone with an advanced degree and comment that Cesar Millan, who has no qualifications or degree, by the way, could fix these dogs. You can't show that a dog is dangerous with any kind of test either, because they will cast doubt on the test. In fact, there's nothing you can do to prove an animal will kill or maim a person convincingly to these kinds of people, unless an animal actually does so. And by then, it's too late to take action. Listen to one of these experts who saw these clips speak on whether that dog is trainable.
I can see it in the first few seconds. Like it's completely obvious. There's not a behaviorist out there who would look at that dog and say, yeah, we can train him. There'd be charlatans who would put a shock collar on him and suppress him.
Unfortunately, there is no shortage of charlatans with shock collars claiming they can fix these dogs. The most notorious alleged charlatan is the dog daddy, who, like Cesar Millan, has zero qualifications, despite being one of the internet's most famous dog trainers. He takes dogs who are terribly aggressive and uses barbaric methods to suppress their outward signs of aggression. I'm not an expert and can't comment on his methods, but the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists certainly is composed of experts in their fields and have released a statement about him. They, quote, strongly condemn the training methods and videos by the dog daddy. They state that his methods inflict psychological stress on these animals, making their handler significantly more likely to be bitten. Though dog daddy's dramatic before and after show aggressive dogs seemingly becoming docile, his method of torturing them by hanging dogs by slip leads and yanking them around with prong collars does little to correct any underlying issues. In fact, it may make those issues worse.
These dogs don't get rehabilitated. You could suppress them for a certain amount of time using methods that are considered cruel and inhumane.
Dog Daddy, of course, refutes these claims, but I'm more inclined to believe the words of 7 respected professionals who have doctor in their titles versus one influencer who unironically calls himself Daddy in his title. It's unsurprising that his fan base has reacted negatively towards criticism of his methods. People aren't swayed by degrees or certifications, but rather aesthetics. The image of an abusive, unqualified man choking an unruly dog into submission is far more attractive to some people than 2 women with advanced degrees correctly stating an animal should be humanely euthanized. I doubt this video will cause anyone who believes in his methods to lose faith in him for this reason. The sad truth is that some dogs cannot be saved, and though this can be a tough call, behavioral euthanasia can occasionally be the best option. This is not because the dog is simply dangerous, but also due to the reduced quality of life that the dog would live if it were kept out of situations where it could cause harm to people or other dogs. With the most severe cases of aggression, there is no doubt in my mind that it is more cruel to let an animal suffer in solitude, locked in some cage in a no-kill shelter, unable to be adopted out, than to humanely put it down. Anyways, I'm Robert Tolpe, and if you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.